Well, hello there. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome to the channel. It is day 4 of my 5-part mini-series where I thrift flip old dress shirts into a different type of shirt. Today we'll be attempting to recreate the Anna blouse by Chalsie Joan. It's inspired by Anna Karenina in Jean-Luc Godard's Pierre Le Faux. Sorry. This blouse is Chalsie Jones's take on the famous red dress seen and worn by Anna on set. I picked this up mainly because it has bias tape. And if you've seen any of my sewing videos before, you know that I'm obsessed with bias tape, okay? So it just had to be done. Don't worry though, this time I went out and bought some bias tape, so you won't have to suffer through me making them for the 1000th time. You're welcome. The Anna blouse ranges from 250 to 340 euros. And as per usual, I'll be making one for $0. The white dress shirt that I've picked out has been with me since middle school, so you can just imagine the amount of staining that's on that damn thing. Mainly like yellow pit stains and just like soy sauce stains from eating. Thankfully, this flip will require me to take it in a bit, so a lot of the yellow stains will be cut out. And in terms of the other stains, I'm really hoping the ruffling that'll be happening all over the shirt will just kind of disguise a lot of it, so it won't be as noticeable. All right then, let's jump right into it. So here's what the shirt looks like on me. Clearly still fits, I just never wear it anymore, mainly due to the staining, but also because it's so damn see-through. I don't even know why I bought this in the first place. I always wore colorful bras in my youth, so I must have been looking crazy every time I pulled up in this top. Oh wells, can't change the past, just gotta look to the future, and the future is saying we give this top a major makeover. Here is the Anna blouse for reference. As you can see, there is this super cute square neckline. Thankfully, I'm wearing the perfect tank top for this, so I'm just going to start by marking the straps, then where I want the shirt to sit above my boobs and under my boobs. I want to really nail the fit of the top first before doing all the ruffling bits, so let's start by getting rid of the bottom panel. I'm going to measure down from the collar to the under boob, then mark that spot. Measure from the armpit down the same distance on both sides. For me, it was 3.5 inches. Connect those markings with a straight line, then cut, cut, cut. Yeet that bottom half of the dress shirt to the side, then bring in the top half. Because this button placket isn't stable, we're gonna machine stitch it down to lock it in place. Shout out to LZ738 for suggesting I do this with my last flip to avoid all that unnecessary gaping. For the neckline, start by finding the middle number between your two shoulder markings. For me, it was 2 inches, so on both sides, I measured out from the collar and placed my markings. Connect the two above the boob markings with a straight line. Then using the buttons as a point of reference for my bust points, I draw a straight line up to my shoulder marking. Do the same on the other side, then cut it out. Look at that. It's already looking super cute from the front. It's clearly still too big though, so let's take it in. Since we'll be turning the back into an elastic panel, we don't need to worry about the size of it. I'm just going to place 2 markings on the front piece, one on each side just to give me an idea of where I want the new side seams to be. Take the shirt off, then measure from the side seam to the marking on both sides. Add those 2 numbers together, then divide it in half. Now use that number to measure in from the side seams and place your new markings. This ensures that the shirt will be even on both sides. At the shoulder seam, I measured out from the neckline 2 inches on both sides, then following the shape of the armhole and pre-existing side seam, draw a new line. Then cut following that line only on the front side of the shirt. Open it up, then turn it so we're now looking at the good side of the back piece. We want the back to have that super scrunchy effect, so we're going to cut out a large rectangle, as big as the remainder of that back piece will allow. And since we're here, let's just go ahead and chop the sleeve off, continuing our straps for the back. My underboob measurement sits comfortably at 30 inches, so dividing that in half, I'll be cutting my elastics at 15 inches in length. I cut out 4 strips in total, as that's how many fit nicely in that space. Draw a straight line on both sides of the fabric. This will act as our guidelines for when we take this to the sewing machine. Pin the elastics on each side roughly the same distance apart from each other. I mean, you should use a ruler here, but of course, as per usual, I did not because I'm lazy. Anchor your elastics down on the machine. Since there will be a bit of tension at these spots, I'm gonna backstitch a couple of times to really lock it down and secure them in place. Now, in order to do this, set your stitch to zigzag. Backstitch, then grab the other side of the elastic, pull it to its maximum stretch so it's nice and taut. I'm a bit too far from the machine, so I'm going to sandwich the elastic and fabric in between my fingers at the halfway point. Then just stitch it down, keeping that elastic taut and stretched the entire time. Once you hit that middle marking, grab the end of the elastic, pull, then continue your stitch till you reach the end. Don't forget to backstitch. Do the same thing for the rest of the elastics, then voila! Cute! Now it's time to attach the front and back pieces together at the sides, then the straps to the back. Good sides facing good sides, of course. Then try it on for size. Okay. The fit is quite nice. I didn't have to struggle to get into it. Right off the bat though, I do see that the hem is no longer straight, so I'll have to balance it out a bit. By that, I just mean I'm gonna cut mainly the front so that the bottom sits in one straight line. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, it just can't be this. Also, the straps could be a little more snug, so I'm gonna give it a quick straight stitch there, about a 1/4 inch on the fold on both sides. All right, now that the bodice is done, it's time to move on to the rest of the shirt. There are 2 panels we need to make. The bottom panel, which is the ruffled bottom half of the blouse, and the collar panel, which is the ruffled decorative part of the blouse. Let's start with the bottom panel. Remember that piece I told you to check to the side? Well, now we're gonna put it to use. Using as much of the fabric as I can, I cut out 2 strips about 5 inches wide. Cut off the button placket on the first one, then on the other, I flipped it around and cut it in half. We're gonna attach them together like this, essentially creating one long looped circle panel. Pin, then stitch. Then encase those raw edges with a flat fell seam. Last thing to do before putting it aside is to just double fold hem the bottom of the panel and install the gathering stitches. The first and most important thing to do for the collar panel is to figure out how long we need it to be. For me, I ended up measuring the neckline opening at about 46 inches, meaning I would need a panel roughly 96 inches in length. Looking at what was left over from the bottom piece, this clearly is not going to be enough, so I'll have to cut out some smaller pieces from the sleeves. This will just have to end up being a sleeveless top. Keeping in mind that we'll be adding some red bias tape and accounting for the 1/2 inch seam allowance, I cut out as many 3-inch wide rectangles as the leftover fabric would allow. And of course on the sleeve, I'm doing my best to avoid the yellow pit stains. Once I got enough cut out to give me at least 92 inches in length, I stitched them together. Much like I did the bottom panel, then enclosed the inner raw edges with a flat fell seam. Now onto the star of the show, the red bias tape. I'm gonna stitch it all the way down along one side, add some gathering stitches to the other, then just start gathering away until it gets down to about 46 inches in length. Pin and stitch about a 1/2 inch away from the edge. Then gather your bottom panel and stitch it in place. Voila! Now all that's left to do is just serge all the fraying edges and add the back ties. I'm gonna do all of that off camera real quick, then it'll be time for the reveal in 3, 2, 1. perfect little blouse for a Pennywise Halloween costume. You can't tell me that if I added some red buttons down the front, this doesn't remind you of Pennywise. Like, come on. Okay, but let's get serious for a sec, because even though I love the look of the blouse, there are some issues that are bothering me. First up, we have the most obvious of flaws, the ties. I was just super pressed for time, so I tacked those on real quick without measuring or even pinning them down first. This isn't a major issue though, because it is an easy fix. Next, we have the front button placket. For some reason, it's slightly slanted? I keep having to readjust. I mean, it's not a big deal, like it's super subtle. It's just once I notice something is slightly off, I can't help but fixate on it. Last but not least, I think I should have added some more length to the collar panel just because I like the drama of having that extra volume. I think my mistake was ironing down the gathering bit at the front in an attempt to keep it down, whereas I should have just pressed at the seams. Taking all of these points into account, I give this flip a rating of 6 out of 10. There's nothing majorly wrong about this blouse, just all these little things add up. That being said, I really do love this shirt, especially because it looks super cute both with the straps up and with the straps down. I'll definitely be wearing this more than what we started off with. It's like I'm wearing a whole new shirt. Yellow pits to cottagecore picnic ready vibes. Yes, please. That is all I've got for you this week. I hope you found this video helpful. If you see something out there you'd like me to try and recreate, let me know. I'm always down for a challenge. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.